Pips, today is your day of reckoning. Tonight, we will dine like kings. What do you think, Meep? Was that a little bit too much? No? Alright, good. So welcome back, my fellow duplicants. Today we're going to automate our incubator system over here so that we can crank out more critters faster than what we can do currently. We have to wait right now for all of these eggs to incubate at a rate of 5% per cycle. Ugh, it's so slow, but we can make it go a lot faster. However, we don't want to flood our base with even more pips than we already have, so we should automate the recycling or the death of these pips. And I just did a video on that one yesterday. You can check it out up here over in the top right. And this is going to be a system that actually will essentially flood the pip and turn it into food very, very quickly. So I'm going to set all of that up today, which means more or less we need to deconstruct everything in this area because it's going to take up a little bit of space. All right, so I think the space I'm going to use is just going to be this right here. I already have a couple of incubators in that spot and a spot where I'm storing my all of my ingredients right here, which is, I could keep it there or I could move it, but I think it's probably good just right where it's at. All right, so right here, I already have one thing in place, and that's where I'm storing a lot of this stuff right here. And you know what? I think that can go ahead and stay there because that actually works really good as a barrier for baby critters because they don't want to jump over a tile. So let's get to work, dupes. I guarantee it'll be a delicious meal at the end of the day. Nothing like some hatch eggs. Thank you. Another thing I don't need here is I don't need all of these tiles. We can just get rid of those. Goodbye. And what I'm going to do is rearrange this so that all of our stuff is right here. How many critters do you think I'm going to entomb today? It's going to be a lot. So many bad pips in the way. Watch out, pips. I got work to do. All right, here we go. We're going to go right over here. That's a good start. I don't really need a conveyor chute at the moment. I mean, it's cool, but I don't really need it. Oh my gosh, look at all these pips. Excuse me, trying to do some work here. Well, look at that. We've already entombed 2. So we're off to a good start. So I'm just going to go ahead and place our incubators right there. Boom, just like that. That should be more than enough. I'm also just going to go ahead and get rid of this stuff down here because I don't need that either. Like, all of this can just go. I'll find a new home for the thimbleweeds. And as of right now, I should have more than enough. Yeah, reed fiber. I've got these guys running down here, so that's a good start. Although they do need something besides oxygen. They actually need hydrogen down there. Oh well. Things to do. Okay, one easy way I can get the hydrogen down there is I can just go ahead and use a canister filler. So I can slap down a couple of these right here, and then we'll just throw a floor underneath it like that. And then, just like this, we can go ahead and boom, do what I want to do right there. And then down below, I can go ahead and use a canister emptier. And that allows me to kind of move that gas down there. So that's this guy. Boom, just like that. Oh my gosh, how many things have been planted down here? What in the world? Oh. Arbor trees. Arbor tree. Thimbleweed. Wow. All right, crazy pips. Careful. Careful, dupes. Pancake King. No, no. I see you, Pip. Don't you dare. Oh, you tried. You tried so hard. Uh-oh. Now you're stuck. All right, so now that I've entombed a bunch of critters, let's go ahead and dig them to freedom, please. There we go. What, are you still stuck? There is a way out. Ah! They're all planting in one single tile. Okay, so there we have it. A total of 8 incubators. I'm not necessarily going to run all of them. That would be a lot of power. But I do have 8 available. So what this allows me to do here is just have a safe spot for all of my eggs that I'm going to be running here. So pip eggs, hatch eggs, I can kind of go ahead and put those inside of here, the ones that I want to keep. And a recent update allows us to actually click on this stuff here. So even though you don't have a sage hatchling or something like that, you can still click on it and say incubate it. That makes it a nice high priority. So you can actually go ahead and put an egg in there once you actually get that egg. But I don't really want any of those. I just want pip eggs, hatchling eggs, or stone hatches as well. Those are my food sources. And then glossy Drecos as well is another good one. Now I don't need any of this stuff over here. We could just go ahead and get rid of all of that and sweep it up. Oh my gosh, look at there's pips here, here, here. They're just all over the place. So just focusing back on the gas here real quick. I've gone ahead and said empty this canister. You can see I have 10 kilograms, and this is going to be hydrogen. And then right down here, I've set up my gas canister emptier right there, and I've set it to hydrogen. So the duplicant will come down here and actually release the gas in this environment right down here, which allows me to get hydrogen up top. so the scales on the Dracos and whatnot can grow. And if we take a look at the temperatures in this area, it seems like it's continuing to work as expected. So right down here, you can see that we're maintaining a cool enough temperature for the mealwood, and up top we're maintaining a hot enough temperature for the pincher pepper plants. So the heat's definitely coming off of the compost up here. That's keeping the temps up. And the cooling is coming from the radiant pipes that's running around my base. Really nice. Okay, so the next thing I need to make here is my critter munchers. So I already have a blueprint of this. That's actually pulled again from that last video that I did. And the arrangement I would like to use here is going to be the top-down system. And as you can see, it fits perfectly. Boom! Just like that. Problem solved. Have at it, dupes. Oh, I love blueprints. The only thing I will say is that I want to set the priority a little bit higher in the middle so that we build the tiles last. We'll see. I might have to deconstruct some walls. That's one of the things about blueprints is that they don't necessarily, you know, follow those rules exactly. And there's a couple tiles that are going to be hard to reach right down here. So maybe I can go ahead and say 6 to those. Maybe? I see a duplicant that's in danger. What have you done? Ren, that's a bad spot to be. Excuse me, you might want to deconstruct those walls. Oh, I have many duplicants inside of there, and critters. Could you please get out of the water part of my Muncher system, please? Oh, 3 forgivenesses, thank you. Now could you turn into meat, please? Bleh. There they go. We'll go ahead and set these doors to open until we get the automation set up. Which is going to be a horrible idea because all of these critters are going to crawl in there. Stop it, pips! Bad pip! I've yet to see any spawn of the smart pip. There is a smart pip in here somewhere. Good luck finding him. He's a rare beast, that one. So when I make a blueprint, one of the things I like to do here is just make it all out of the same type of material. So the doors here, they're made of copper ore, and the automation is made of refined copper. So this is a good test of our system over here. I actually ran out of copper from that, but I should be able to crank up the priority over here and run it some more. Matter of fact, Meep already kind of did that. Thank you, Meep. Drendolf, it's just about time for you to move into your new zone. Oh my gosh, what do we have going on over here? Oh, I forgot about all of this. Oh, you know what? At least we have water, right? Of course, now that water's in a really hard to get spot. Ew, and I gotta cool this. Yeah, I forgot about that. All right. Looking back at the Draco Ranch here, you can see that we have some hydrogen up top. Very nice. The glossy Dracos and Dracos or whatnot are enjoying that. And you can also see that somewhere on this Draco, we're going to see that it's scale growth. Yes, 13% per cycle. But the ones that are down here in the oxygen or carbon dioxide environment, their scale growth is 0% per cycle. So it's important to have that hydrogen inside of here. I'm glad that I was able to fit all of that in the same spot. It's kind of interesting. However, I no longer need this because I already have all of that gas down there. You don't want to put too much down there. Look at these critters. They're just so eager to check out this machine. I'm just going to warn you right now, critters. You should not be so interested. It's almost like you put a blanket out and the cat just like runs straight for it. Oh yes, I'm going to put my fur all over this thing. But for many of you pips, this will be the last thing you ever see. Dun dun dun. I guess the real question is this fancy enough? It's just an igneous rock tile. Look at how much ceramic I have these days, guys. Look at that. I think it's ceramic time. Oh yeah, there we go. That's cool. Critters, could you please leave? Jump on out, please. Don't you dare go in. No! What do you... Oh, wow, I didn't trap those. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have at least 7 critters currently confined at the moment. Oh, wait, make that 8. Okay, if this is above 64, at least it should be open. There we go. Pip. Well, I'm not going to deconstruct this just for you. I'm sorry, you're stuck in the wall. Please get out of my wall. Bleh. Bleh. All right, there we go. Problem solved. Oh, wait, there's another one over here. How many of them are in the wall? All I needed to do is build some stuff down here. Oh my gosh, there's more in the wall. Okay, so I guess I need to deconstruct this tile and attempt... Be free, little critters! Don't you dare run in there! Okay, good, good. And sweep this stuff up, please. No! No, no, no! I am going to murder all of you. All right, all of these critters over here, you're done. You're done. You're just all done. Stop climbing into my machine. Don't hide in my machine. Get them, dupes! Draco, nope! Bad. You made the mistake. Oh, no, there's more of them. Stop! Stay away! I just want this to be free of critters. Bleh, 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 bleh. No, bad pip. Somebody, can you please sweep this stuff up before more pips show up? Okay, just a little bit more. Come on, dupes, you can do it. Sweep. No, you don't. Don't you dare, don't you dare. Oh, you stupid pip. Oh, you're the lucky pip. You were so close to death. You have no idea. You better keep running. All right, so there we have it. The critter muncher is all constructed. So once we go above 0, you can see here that the doors will start to activate. This will increase the water level, and then you can see the critters are actually stuck inside of this room, and then at this point they would be drowning. Now, some people are asking me why didn't I go below 1 or something like that. There seems to be this weird thing that happens with this sensor. It just like keeps clicking in the background, which I don't like. So that's why I'm doing it that way. You can hear it. Ugh. All right, so before this thing can get up and start munching on some critters here, it needs water. So I need to get some water from down here, which means I need to get water from over here, which means I need to pipe water up to here. So to do that while solving my previous problem over here of this being just too hot, what I'm doing is I'm piping water out of this puddle that I have down here, which is coming out of the cool/geyser. And that will be bringing water into this area. Now, last time I didn't have that hooked up to an automation signal, so it was actually flooding this area. I had too much water over here. This time, things are going to be a little bit different. So because this water is already relatively cool, well, okay, it's 50 some degrees Celsius, but that's still quite a bit less than 100 degrees Celsius. I'm going to pump that over here to the right. Now, if I'm bringing this straight out of the polluted water spot from the cool/geyser, it'll actually be very, very cold. So I could bring it in almost at sub-zero temperatures. I don't want to have sub-zero temperatures over here though, because if we run that through the water sieve, then I'll have the opposite of the problem I had last time where I was outputting steam. Well, this thing would actually output frozen, this thing would actually output like frozen water, which would then break the pipes as well. So we can go ahead and re-enable that. I think we're safe to do that. But essentially I'm bringing the water over here. It'll go into this pipe. This is all radiant pipe that I will be building up right there. And then that will just kind of dump into the pit down here. And I can turn that off. If we go above a certain number right here, then that automation signal will turn off the pump down here so that we don't bring in more polluted water. And I can move these pumps around wherever I want them. Right now I'm just actually controlling how much this cool/geyser outputs and what way it outputs by controlling the doors. So I'm also using this right now to cool down my cool steam turbine over here on the left. Matter of fact, I can do that. And I already have water stored up in these tanks. It's kind of a little bit messy, but essentially it comes over here, it cools the steam turbine, and then I could pipe that if I wanted to, all the way back over to the right if I wanted to do that whole arrangement. There's a lot of stuff I could do, but I don't want to spend too much time on it right now. Okay, so focusing back in my little mini satellite base over here, which is the metal refinery. This is going to be the home of Drandolph over here. So I want to make sure I can deliver some food over here, so I'll just set up a refrigerator right there for now. But I want to make sure that I have the Atmo suits docks that are set up so that I can go ahead and jump in and out of those as need be. From yesterday's conversation, there was one thing that could potentially happen here. If we have a slickster and that slickster was to have an accident, that water could potentially make a big mess down here if that crude oil tries to move through all of that water and it ends up displacing a lot of it. So it might be in my best interest to actually pump this full of crude oil rather than pumping it full of water. So what I can do that here is I can go ahead and use a bottle emptier, and I can just go ahead and run crude oil up into this area until I fill up, you know, get up to these tiles right here. And right down here, I should have access to crude oil because I have a pitcher pumper right there. I'm actually deconstructing these tiles. I think the room's big enough for it. We're only at 52 right now, so if we add in 17 to that, yeah, we got plenty of room. Although I wish my dupes would finish this pipe right here. That would be nice. Dupes, what are you doing? Oh, that's what's up. We don't really have any Atmo suits available because we don't have oxygen available. Uh-oh. And oxygen is not running because we're not pumping enough water into that thing. So there we go. We need a little bit more over there, which means the water runs up here, but it has plenty of water. So why aren't you running? I guess the answer is it is running. It just ran low for a little while. That's what. So I'm not a big fan of this T-junction right here. So I'm going to move it after the fact. There we go. That might be a little bit too much. I think I'll put the bridge back in. Uh-oh. Sorry, kitty. I'm venting all of your oxygen. It's not what I wanted to do. I wanted this thing just to run just enough to keep you supplied. There we go. Problem solved. Okay, well, I was able to finish the cooling pipes in the background here for that polluted water right there. So that's done. Now I'm just waiting on the automation wire to run down here to the pump and a couple things to get that up and running. Right now, I'm supplying most of the power from my base from the steam turbine down here, which is actually in a fairly hot environment down there, 248 degrees Celsius. You can actually see that one of the doors is opened up so that we're back up towards, you know, nearly generating 850 watts. We're up at 750, so that's pretty good. I'm also running this natural gas generator a lot. You can see that I have a fair bit of natural gas over here, but I was up near 70 kilograms to begin with. Now I'm at 13. One of the things you can do with this automation over here is you can actually control how frequently you want these doors to run. Some people are saying, well, it's powered. Maybe you shouldn't have it powered or something like that. Well, you can actually control just how frequent you want the whole thing to cycle. You can get this thing to run without power, but I don't know. I have problems with it deleting gas. So I always make the doors run with power. But I did have this in my example. The first time you saw it set to 1 second. You can set it to 10 seconds, you can set it to 60 seconds, and it'll only cycle like this every time, you know. That just changes the frequency. So the big things that are consuming a lot of power is I'm running this thermal aqua tuner a lot. That's a big consumer right there. I'm also running a lot of this stuff up here as well. You know what? Forget about the whole crude oil thing. There's just as much chance that I could have a flood with water and still have the same sort of problem. So what I'm actually going to do is just bring the water in over here, mostly because I just have too much water. This thing's starting to flood up here, so I got to get rid of some of this water. And this looks like a good spot to put some of it. So let's flip these pipes around and make it work. There we go. Nice clean water. We'll just set that up. Boop. Now look at all these pips. They're all like, I wonder what's going on down there. Bad Pip the 9th. We're not up to 10 just yet. Man, look at all this mopping. Oh, and this is an interesting thing too. See how we have so much carbon dioxide up here and we have like none down below? When you end up with water on top of these airflow tiles, you can actually create quite the gas lock. Just something to be careful about. And since it seems like we're in the mood to make messes with water, let's go ahead and just dig this up and create a nice big flood right down here. That should end up down here, and I can go ahead and mop it up once that happens. There it is. Too much. All right, so I'm just going to rework this a little bit. We'll move the doors around. I don't want them right there. Kind of want it up a little bit from there. I would like if we were to just put the conveyor chute for all of the eggs. Where do I want those? I feel like right here is just a good spot. So I can get rid of all of these conveyor rails. I don't need those anymore. So then I can go ahead and bring in conveyor rails from the right. So that will be these guys right there. Not only that, we deliver lumber the same way over here. So cool. So the eggs over here on the right can travel up just like that. Matter of fact, we can go ahead and take these and just bring those up into that system. So rather than flowing over here, they just go whoop, just like that, which means I can deconstruct all of this because I don't need it. And then shipping up from the bottom, I can go ahead and bring conveyor rails. I can bring one up right here. And that means I can use an auto sweeper right down here to do what I need to do. So that would just go right like this. Boom. And if I wanted to, I can even make more incubators right down here. If I wanted to store even more critters in the same spots. Wow. All right. But hold on, we need to go to the food tab real quick. We need to have a critter drop off. This way I can auto-wrangle the extras here that come out of these incubators. I want to make sure I have room for that. And if I need to turn these into their own rooms in order to get this critter drop off working, then again, I have room for that. I can go ahead and just get rid of one incubator here and actually put in a door. There's a chance that we may not be able to actually run like a critter that's down here that can't get up there. We might try to actually try to wrangle it, but they can't get there. And that could probably cause some issues with the duplicants. So I might want to just keep an eye on that and potentially have a door right there. Who's on fire? Dandolf, dude, I told you not to come over here. What are you doing? Oh, everybody's over here. What are you guys doing? You don't need to be over here. Oh man, freshly cooked dupes. Actually, only Dandolf. What is it about these new dupes that they just spontaneously catch fire where my experienced dupes don't? They must be hardened to the temperature. That must be it. You gotta grow some thick skin, buddy. Get back up here on your cot. Oh, that's what happened. I was wondering why I wasn't making as much oxygen. For some reason, somehow, some water ended up right here over the top of my electrolyzer. Alright. You tricky little drop of water messing me up. There we go. Now we have oxygen. This whole time I was like, what in the world? Dandolf, you're messing up my dupes, man. Dandolf, you're getting in the flow of things. You're a little bit too slow to be running around in the Atmo suits here. I've initiated protocol alerted defense system, and you can no longer go through this door. Only dupes that can move quickly. Thank you. And now that the oxygen system is now back up and running, we can actually fill those things with oxygen. So that's the one thing about this base that's really weird. Like, my ability to do work outside of my initial biome is completely linked to just how many Atmo suits I can keep full of oxygen. It's only now that I'm really realizing just how important of a role that plays, but it's interesting how that's playing out. Alright, I'm gonna send somebody down here to get this thing done. I'm tired of waiting for it. Come on, dupes. I think Ren's got it. Or maybe Kenzilla. Anybody? Please? There we go. No. I need you guys to do these as well. There we go. Bringing in some water. And water will flow over here to the right, which means I can re-enable this guy. Nice cool temps. Well, not necessarily, but it should be cooler. I guess I don't really need to drip that into there, do I? It's alright, whatever. It works. So that petroleum generator, the reason it's getting so hot is that there's no way for it to turn off. It has no automation hooked up to it. So I need to hook it up to a battery to make sure that it doesn't become too hot. Okay, so now I have a lot of water running in. Look at this. Just everywhere. Beautiful. Although this water is kind of hot. It's 60 degrees Celsius. So I'm not a big fan of having that run right through the middle of my base. Oh well. Still, not too long from now, I'll have enough water here to actually run the little critter muncher down here. I just need the water to be kind of above this tile right now. So I have to fill this tile up, and once it's into this mesh tile, then boom, I have enough water. Which means I can go over here and turn this thing off. Please, just a little bit more. So it makes sense that I would do a kitchen. Probably right here. I mean, that just seems like a good spot for it. Because the food is, well, it's right here. So, food, kitchen. Okay, you can see that we have enough water now, so I can go ahead and turn that off. I don't need it anymore. And that means I can turn on the critter muncher. Where are we at? Get out of the way, bad pips. Get out of the way, critter sensor. All right, here we go. If this is above 0, we will now begin to close everything. And oh no! There's no room to breathe. Sorry, little critters. The end of the road for you. And bleh! Just like that, we converted them into meat. Oh, what's in here? Oh, look, a little bit of meat. Delicious. Uh-oh. Goodbye, critters. This is so... And there you have it. The critter muncher is at work. And as you can see right there, the duplicants were able to come over there and just sweep it up normally. I could do an auto sweeper and conveyor and all of that stuff, but you know what? I have a duplicant who does that job right now just perfectly. So it's not necessary, but I can do it. So what I have over here on the left is a bunch of these little incubators now. So let's go ahead and just put in some critters that I want to keep on hand in there. Obviously, I want to keep a glossy Dreco and a stone hatch. Those are really good critters to have. A pip egg, definitely. And then once the dupes ever get around to building this one, I'll put another one right there. Down here on the bottom, I'd probably want to keep a pinch row safe, so we'll go ahead and keep one of those. One thing that you can accidentally run out of here is like shine bugs. So I think I'll keep a shine nymph right down here. We can keep that slickster, but as long as I keep it down below, it won't actually go up here, so I won't have that problem that I was talking about with the crude oil. And now I can go ahead and deconstruct these buildings here, because what I want to do is actually build a chamber in between these two, and then get rid of this bottle emptier. So this will allow me to deliver critters directly over here if I wanted to. So what I'll do is put one of these critter drop-offs right here. And then I'll just build a little door right there just like that. Now if I leave this door open, the critters over here as they become adults can actually just hop on over and, you know, become meat. But if they're still a baby, they'll actually be over here on the left because they won't be able to hop all of this stuff. All right, so another thing I'm doing here is I'm adding little clock sensors to these incubators over here. So what you can do with a clock sensor is you can let it only run for about 10% of the cycle or so. And if you set the priority up nice and high, your duplicant will run over here and actually apply their buff to the incubator so that it gets the increased hatching rate. So that's plus 20% per cycle, in some cases even more. So what I'm doing here is I just have several different automation wires hooked up to that. You don't necessarily need to run all of them, nor do you need to run all of them at the same time. So you can kind of stagger it out. And if you have a duplicant that has a routine, who more or less comes over here and will run on the grooming station in the afternoon sort of thing, then that actually works out pretty good. One thing I'm thinking about is using this area down here to house a duplicant. So that might be a spot where they actually will rest, and then the first thing that they do is in the morning is actually run over here and run the incubators if need be. So rather than having their barracks up here, just put the barracks down there and have it happen that way. Potentially, that's one possible option. I do have the space for it right down here if I wanted to do that. Alright, so I have way too many pips in here. We can go ahead and leave these doors open, and then whenever a pip stumbles into the wrong spot, well, they'll end up down here. As you can see, that thing is just running and running and running and actually doing a pretty good job. Let's take a look at our critter summary just to see what's happened over the last couple of cycles. Wild critters. It's taking a small dip here, but the amount of domesticated critters, I still have a lot. Look at that. I'm still up to 201. What? Where are they all? What in the world? I see. They've all just spread out all over the base, haven't they? Oh, you know what? I think I found where a few of them are. Look at them. They're just look at them back there. They're just hiding behind the tiles. Poor little guys. Let's put you out of your misery. Uh-oh. Too much water. What happened? Oh, I must have deconstructed something. Uh-oh. Flooding! Too much? Too much water? Good thing I didn't go with oil over here. There we go. A little bit of wallpaper. That makes things look nice, doesn't it? I could do some real high-tech stuff here with all of these wires. Ooh. This thing just continues to work over and over again. It's just, there's something about it. Like, it's mildly cruel, right? But at the same time, you're like, that automation works really good, doesn't it? Okay, let's see if we can go ahead and deliver some of these critters to their fate. There's a few too many of them just running around over here. Could you go away, please? Could you? Here, we'll just wrangle them up. Matter of fact, all we'd have to do is kind of open this up for some poke shell battle. Let's do that, too. Why not? This is actually an okay spot to have some pips up here because we already have arbor trees. But you know what? I can do the same strategy and I can do it a little bit better in some other locations. Like right down here if I really wanted to. But, and the thought behind that would be that they could live on like a tile or something with an arbor tree and just live their entire life, right? 100 cycles. And in that 100 cycles, they could actually give off an egg. So you'd get a little bit more food out of them that way. Plus, you'd get lumber, and dirt. A little bit more useful than just turning them into meat, because you still get meat, but you actually get some bonuses too, so. Aha! There we are. Uh-oh. There's 2 poke shells in here now. Ooh! They're getting in a little bit of dose of pip clubbing going on here. But forgiveness, constantly. I don't want to fight you. Oh, this one's gonna fight, though. Battle! Bleh! And you did. Alright, Fuzzbutt. How many of these can we wrangle up and deliver back to this location, There's gotta be a fair number of them. Oh, that's a new overlay for the Atmos suit checkpoint. Look at that. You can kinda see where the dupes are. That's neat. So one of the things I want to set up over here is just, again, a little double checkpoint again. And that's going to be for Drandolf. He's going to be the only one that can go through this door here. I'll have some other duplicants that can run over into this area, I think. But he's going to be the only one that can actually enter his comfy bed or the arcade, because I don't want my dupes running over here in the middle of the night. You know. So he still has private quarters, and he just has locks on the door. And that's how I'm going to control that. Alright, so I've hooked up these petroleum generators here to a smart battery, and that smart battery is hooked up to the grid to kind of automate that little process right there. I can set this up to be just like everything else, right around that 90%, so that it just clicks on, boom, and we start to run. So that's the same settings I have on every single power generating thing around here. So that, and that. I would say the only one that might be a little bit different is maybe this one up here, 95. Hey Val, how did you end up down here without a Atmos suit? Oh, I see. No! Dupes! You left your Atmos suits! Sorry, Drandolf. These dupes just, they peed on your Atmos suits and left them here. It's not very nice of them. There we go. Just saw a critter be delivered over here. Bad Pip the 10th. You know you want to go investigate this, don't you? Oh, you're running the other way. Nope. Oh, there you go. There you go, Bad Pip the 10th. Mm-hmm. Blub, blub, blub. Goodbye. Okay, so what I do over here is I just set the stone hatchling, the pipsqueak, the glossy drecklet, all of that. So that we just take it out of here, we drop them down there, and boom. It's one way of doing it, right? Set this to a lower priority than everything else, but it's still something that you can do. And over here, this should be a pip. Where's my pip? There it is. Nice. All right, so that little system there is working good. Continues to make more and more meat, and we continue to reduce the population of our pips in the base. Let's take one last look here at the critters and see just how many we've removed. So if we go down to the colony summary and we scroll, you can see, ooh, that's a sharp downturn there. We had 200, and now we're at 149. So we continue to drop, and we continue to convert that into food. As you can see here, we're now up over 100,000 calories right there. Delicious. Oh, did you see that? Hold up. Did you see that? Fuzzbutt came over here and put her buff on the said stone hatchling here. So this stone hatchling, look at that incubation rate, plus 20% per cycle. And take a look at the automation that I've set up here. So that is active during the beginning of the cycle. This is active during the beginning of the cycle for 10%. And then as we move on throughout the day, this one's now active for 10%, but it starts at 10. And then actually what I do here is I just go down like this, boom. And then this one starts at 15. And then this one will start at 20. And then this one down here can start at 25. You get the idea. Now there's a little bit more automation we could potentially do here. If we stand on a wayplate for a given amount of time, we could then actually turn it off using something like a memory toggle switch. That's a little bit more advanced automation, so I didn't really want to go into that today, but I think I might look into it and see if I can kind of set that up at some point. I think it'd be pretty cool. All right, so I think that was a big step forward in my critter automation. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode here of Oxygen Not Included. If this looks like the channel for you, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. Stay awesome, guys. Peace. Brothgar out.